Amid the majestic Alps of Bavaria, where lush pine forests embrace sheer rock faces and crystal-clear lakes reflect the deep blue sky, a modern fairy tale was etched in stone and dreams. The story of Neuschwanstein, the new Swan Castle, the masterpiece of the king labeled Mad, Ludwig II. Born on August 25, 1845, at Nymphenburg Palace in Munich, Ludwig Otto Friedrich Wilhelm grew up in a strict royal family, where his father, Maximilian II, and mother, Marie of Prussia, emphasized discipline and duty over familial affection. Ludwig's childhood was tied to Hohenschwangau, the castle his father had rebuilt in Gothic style from medieval ruins, situated beside Lake Alps and Schwansee, where wall paintings depicting legends of the Swan Knight and ancient German heroes ignited the young boy's vivid imagination. It was here, beneath the murals of Lohengrin, the Swan Knight from Richard Wagner's opera, that Ludwig dreamed of an ideal world where artistic beauty and absolute sovereignty intertwined, far removed from the constraints of politics and war. When his father died suddenly in 1864, Ludwig ascended the throne at age 18, a tall, handsome young man with dreamy eyes, welcomed by the Bavarian people as a symbol of hope. Initially, he showed enthusiasm for his role as monarch, supporting educational reforms and distributing musical instruments to young cadets instead of weapons, believing music could bring peace. But deep within, Ludwig was captivated by the world of art, especially Richard Wagner's operas, whom he regarded as an idol. Just months after ascending the throne, Ludwig invited Wagner to Munich, providing generous financial support to rescue the composer from debt and dreaming of a grand opera festival. In the early years of his reign, Ludwig still tried to balance duty and passion, but the defeat in the 7 Weeks' War of 1866, when Bavaria allied with Austria was crushed by Prussia, changed everything. Bavaria was forced to sign a defensive treaty with Prussia, gradually losing military autonomy, and Ludwig, though still king, felt like a mere vassal of Bismarck. Profoundly disappointed by the harsh political reality, Ludwig gradually withdrew from Munich, avoiding the court and state responsibilities, seeking solace in nighttime carriage rides in luxurious vehicles, private opera performances, and eventually in massive palace-building projects. It was from this pain of lost power that the dream of Neuschwanstein began to take shape, a castle not just as a residence, but as a symbol of ideal medieval kingship, where Ludwig could fully control his own world. In 1867, during visits to Wartburg and Château de Pierrefonds, Ludwig found inspiration for his masterpiece, an authentic medieval castle, but built with the most modern technology, dedicated to honoring Richard Wagner and German legends. He chose a site atop a high mountain near Hohenschwangau, where ruins of 2 medieval fortresses once stood, initially naming it New Hohenschwangau. On September 5, 1869, the foundation was laid, designed by Christian Jonck, a stage painter rather than an architect, so the castle would have the dramatic beauty of a gigantic opera stage. Neuschwanstein was constructed in the Romanesque style, with pointed towers, white limestone walls, red roofs, and a multitude of Gothic and Byzantine details, creating a fairy tale image amid the forests and mountains. Inside, the rooms were adorned with exquisite murals depicting scenes from Tannhäuser, Lohengrin, and Parsifal, Ludwig's favorite operas, with the Singers' Hall recreating the singing contest at Wartburg, and the throne room like a Grail temple with a mosaic floor and lavish Byzantine ceiling. Ludwig oversaw every detail, frequently visiting the construction site, sending progress photos to Wagner, and incorporating cutting-edge technology, central heating, running water, electric bells for servants. But construction dragged on, costs doubled the estimates, exceeding 6 million gold marks, mostly from Ludwig's personal fortune and loans. He also built Linderhof and Herrenchiemsee, turning dreams into stone, but driving debts to 14 million marks by 1885. Ministers grew increasingly concerned, viewing the projects as wasteful, while Ludwig became more isolated, living nocturnally, avoiding meetings, and identifying himself with mythical figures like Parzival, the pure Grail King. By 1886, foreign banks threatened seizure of assets, and the cabinet decided to act. Under Bernhard von Gutten's direction, a psychiatric report based on witness statements without direct examination declared Ludwig paranoid and unfit to rule for life. On June 10, 1886, the government commission arrived at Neuschwanstein to arrest Ludwig, but was blocked by locals and loyal soldiers, forcing a retreat in the rain. 2 days later, they returned and seized the king, taking him to Berg Castle on Lake Starnberg. Ludwig, in pain and fury, appealed for help from his cousin Prince Ludwig Ferdinand, but all communication was cut off. At Berg, under von Gutten's supervision, Ludwig appeared calm, but inwardly he was a storm of betrayal and despair. He had once said he wished to remain an eternal mystery to himself and others, and now his dream kingdom had shattered against ruthless political reality. Neuschwanstein, though unfinished, only 14 interior rooms completed, stood as testament to his vision, a Gesamtkunstwerk, blending architecture, art, and nature. The murals of the Swan Knight, the artificial grotto, and the Grand Singers' Hall all evoked Wagner, the friend who had transformed Ludwig's life. In his final years, Ludwig increasingly lived in his own world, hosting imaginary banquets with long-dead French kings, riding horseback under the moon. But he was never truly mad in a destructive sense. He was an artist trapped in the role of monarch. The deposition, though based on a controversial medical report, reflected the conflict between romantic idealism and the industrialized reality, where a dreaming king had no place. Just weeks after Ludwig's death, Neuschwanstein opened to the public to repay debts, gradually becoming Bavaria's icon, attracting millions of visitors and proving his dream had transcended time. On June 13, 1886, Ludwig and von Gutten went for a walk along Lake Starnberg without guards. As night fell, both vanished, and their bodies were found hours later in shallow water. Ludwig face down, the doctor showing signs of struggle. The official verdict was suicide by drowning, but the autopsy found no water in the lungs. Ludwig was an excellent swimmer, and witnesses reported gunshots. Conspiracy theories proliferated: assassination by political rivals to cover a coup, or Ludwig attempting escape and being shot. Whatever the truth, Ludwig's death marked the tragic end of a king who devoted his life to beauty rather than power. His legacy endures through Neuschwanstein, inspiration for Disney's castle and his other palaces, generating billions in tourism revenue for Bavaria. Ludwig was not mad. He was a victim of his era, a romantic soul adrift in a pragmatic world. His story reminds us that sometimes the most beautiful dreams are born from the deepest pain.